Alright, what's going on, guys? It's AquaLeaderJesse. Here with a different type of video. I'm not really a reaction YouTuber much outside of like Nintendo Directs and such. Sorry, I'm checking to make sure it's recording, and it is. This is a new PC. If you didn't know, I got a proper PC now. And so I'm checking, to make sure I have my hotkeys and everything all set up correctly. So that's why I was just doing that. But today we are not talking about my PC. We are talking about the angry video game nerd. Now, here's the part where I give a little story. Well, not much a story, more so just a background about me and my experience with YouTube. Um, I watch a lot of these sort of like retro video game reviewers. People like Ant Dude, Some Call Me Johnny, Kid Icarus. Um, Back when JonTron did it, I watched JonTron do it. Um, Nitro Rad. I'm struggling to think of people at the moment. Um, and even people like Scott the Woz, which I don't know if he fits technically in that category, but still that's still sort of video game talker reviewer type show. A lot of people have been putting on. And but the one like I feel like I watched a lot of them, like a lot. But the one that really eluded me was probably the biggest, most influential one of them all, Angry Video Game Nerd. I have never watched a single episode of Angry Video Game Nerd, who kind of inspired all of those other ones, pretty much. It was kind of the definitive one of this type. So I figured I'd give my first reaction to Angry Video Game Nerd, catch it on camera, because I've wanted to watch it for a while, but I wanted to save it for when I did it on camera, because I can find out whether this is a new obsession. Like I got into Scott the Woz just a couple years ago, like I think it was 2018, and I just immediately binge watched his entire channel worth of videos, and I've seen every single video multiple times. It's a great series. If you haven't seen Scott the Woz, you should check it out. Um, but I've not seen Angry Video Game Nerds. So I figured I'd go back and start from the beginning, um, and yeah, watch the very first video on here, just to because I don't know, I just feel like it. um, yeah, there's not really much else to say. This is my first reaction to Angry Video Game Nerd, AVGN. Um, yeah, let's do it.
This game sucks. Castlevania 1 and 3 are great classic Nintendo games, but for Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest, the game designers obviously were not thinking straight.
Yeah.
At first, it seems like a pretty decent game, a little different from the first in the series, but that's okay. Zelda 2 was different from the first, Mario 2 was different from the first.
Castlevania 2 is pretty
The
bad.
only thing that's strikingly different is the fact that you have to go through towns, talk to people, and buy stuff. Never really minded that. It makes it a little more like an adventure story, and it's kind of like Zelda. So that's
Yeah.
okay. But the first problem comes in when it changes from day to night.
Oh, what a horrible night for to have a curse, right? Yeah. Oh, I hate Castlevania 2.
Why does this need to happen so often? Like every 5 minutes? Why does it take so long? Nobody feels like sitting through this every time. How would you like it if you were playing a game and then every 5 minutes I came over and paused it, then counted 10 tedious seconds, and then let you continue to play the game? I mean, why would they think that that would be a good idea and interrupt the gameplay? Do they think it would be more realistic? I mean, in real life, I don't have to stop in my tracks when the sun sets and a fucking box doesn't pop up in the air. I mean, this is one of the most annoying features in any game ever. What's the point?
Yeah, it was pretty darn annoying.
Stronger at night when the stores are closed. But why is that necessary and why does the game have to stop? It's fucking retarded.
Oh.
And why do you have to die when you fall in the water? That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. This guy can go all over fighting hordes of evil monsters, but he can't even fucking swim.
That is true. That that's pretty dumb. I just kind of accepted it for what it was, to be honest with you. Even though Castlevania 2 is probably
Sometimes I don't
like
feel
the
like
worst of
playing
the
this
classic
game.
Castlevania games, in my
You
opinion.
know? I mean, there's no
But
reason I should have to do that when I can just take a shortcut and jump down. But oops, I shouldn't do that. There might be water down there. Another thing that's really annoying about this game is the fact fact that you have to buy weapons and items. I mean, still, it's not uncommon. You know, like I said, it's the same thing you have to do in many great games like Zelda. But let me explain. Here you have to collect hearts, which count as money. I mean, that's kind of odd because usually hearts count as life or energy.
Yeah,
You know, so that's kind of strange.
that's always been
But
weird.
that's not the point.
That's not. That's every Castlevania game though.
To buy are too fucking expensive, and the hearts don't add up enough. It takes too long to get enough of them to buy something, and it gets boring wandering around killing the same monsters over and over again just so you can buy a flame whip or something. Speaking of flame whip, that's pretty weird itself, isn't it? I mean, they were really being creative with that one, a flame whip. Anyway, about the hearts. It takes too long to buy stuff, and to add on to the problem, when you die, you lose all your hearts and you have to start all over again.
Yep.
I mean, doing this doesn't add to any of the game's difficulty or challenge. It just makes us have to do more of the same monotonous stuff over again, and it's not fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's boring.
Yeah.
Oh look,
It's like the
got
lives
enough hearts to go and buy a
dilemma, but
pumpkin
worse.
across the swamp. Now let me get to the store. Oh shit, it's fucking nighttime. Now the stores are all closed and I have to wait for it to turn day again. Oh well, I might as well kill some zombies in the meantime and stock up on some more hearts. Oh shit, now I gotta start all over again.
Yay. Yeah, that's the reason I
In the game are the
didn't give
pitfalls.
this
There are areas where there's
game
no
much time at all.
rocks that look like you could walk on them, but instead you just fall through. It's impossible to tell where these spots are the first time walking through, so you just have to keep throwing holy water all over to see where they are. It's retarded. Why should I have to do that? Again, it doesn't add up to any of the fun, challenge in the game. It's just unfair and it's annoying. In the dungeons, there's no bosses at the end, which is a big disappointment. Every Nintendo gamester knows that at the end of a level or a dungeon, labyrinth, or whatever, there's always supposed to be a big guy who you fight. But here, they just got lazy and only put a few bosses in the game and left some of the dungeons just empty, like this one. So most of the dungeons you go through, the mansions to be exact, there's nothing at the end except for a crystal orb that you can't touch. In the rest of the Castlevania games, the tradition goes like this. You fight a boss, you defeat him, then an orb comes down, and you touch it. There you go, on to the next level. But in Castlevania 2, how would you ever figure out that you're supposed to throw an oak stake at that orb? I mean, when you first get the oak stake, you assume it's a weapon, and you throw it only to find that it does absolutely nothing, and that you waste it by throwing it, so you have to get it all over again.
Yeah.
Parts of the game that are definitely
I
not
didn't make it
self-explanatory and are
very far. I don't think I even made it that far.
Would you guess that you're supposed to pass through this wall? How? You have to kneel down by it for 10 seconds. Now still, that's not enough to make it so cryptic and hidden that we can't figure it out. Oh, please give us more for our buck and make it harder so we can run the whole game and exhaust every possibility before we find out. Okay? Guess what? You need to have a red crystal selected and be kneeling down and wait a little while before this magic tornado comes and takes us to the next part of the game.
Oh. Okay.
Have things to say that aren't important at all, so why do you have to read them? Here in the dungeons, there's books that you may find which actually give you clues about things in the game that you may need to know about. But when I find these books half the time, it's by accident, so I may hit the button and cancel it out, which means that I don't even get to read it and I don't have a second chance. Why can't I do that when it
Damn.
changes from day to night? That would actually be helpful. So what the game designers figured is this. It isn't absolutely necessary for me to read about how to find Dracula's castle or what I'm supposed to do with an oak stake, but what I do need to read, again and again, constantly, is the morning sun has vanquished the horror.
Even though it'll be very
I
apparent.
this horrible game. The only sure way to get through this awful game is to enter a code, but even that is way more tedious than it should be. While most of the Castlevania games have symbols you enter for a code, this one just has a whole bunch of numbers. I mean, like one of the
That looks like a lot of letters to me personally, but
why so many? In general, I hate games that have passwords like this because sometimes they have uppercase and lowercase letters, like the L's, look like I's, the zeros look like O's, the H's look like 5s. So, why does it have to be so many digits? Why can't it just be numbers or something? Like, just numbers and not letters. I mean, it takes me like 5 minutes to enter this code.
yeah, this is taking forever.
Stupid. Okay, so say we enter the code and we go to Dracula's castle. You'll be pretty disappointed isn't even worth putting in a code, let alone playing the whole game all the way through, which if you did, I feel bad for you. I mean, first of all, there's no enemies in Dracula's castle. You just walk all the way through, and the only obstacles are just like going up and down steps, which won't hurt you, and they aren't challenging either. They're just tedious. I mean, what the hell is the point of going through the castle if there's no way to fight? Did the game designers just like run out of
Oh,
time or something? So then you get up to Dracula, and guess what? He
he
doesn't look
looks weird.
anything like Dracula.
You
He
say
looks like a Grim Reaper, and he throws sickles.
he looks
I mean,
nothing like
doesn't this
Dracula.
game even know what Dracula is? He's a fucking vampire. On top of everything, Dracula's way too easy. Check this out. This is a trick that I discovered myself, and so could you without the help of any strategy guide. When Dracula first appears, he stands there for a while, and he gives you plenty of time to land lots of free hits. Not only does he stand there for a long time, but everything that hits him will stun him and give you even more time. Naturally, you'll probably be using the flames because it's one of the most effective weapons in the game, but using it against Dracula makes it simply impossible for him to even do anything. He has no chance. The second you start throwing that shit at him, you've already won. I mean, why is it that easy? Did they even test this shitty game out before they released it? What a piece of shit. I mean, I feel horrible that I had to play this game in order to make this video. But I did it
I feel bad for you.
dreadfulness, and I forced myself to play it just so that you don't have to. So you should thank me for telling you to stay away from this horrible, steaming pile of goat shit.
Thank you.
I mean, I know it's useless complaining about a game that was made back in the late 80s or early 90s or whatever, but it just blows my mind how fucking horrible it is. I mean, it's consistently annoying. Why? Why is it so bad? If all these problems were changed, then we'd have a great trilogy of classic Castlevania games. But history is history, and we might as well try to count Castlevania 3 as, the second in the series, and leave this awful piece of horseshit alone, as it stands today as one of the biggest fuck-ups of all time. Thank you for listening. Good night. The ending sucks, too.
Alright, so that's an old one. So now let's jump ahead and watch. That's a long one. Let's do let's do one that's not quite so long for the sake of the video. Let's do this Pac-Man 2 one. That's a fairly recent one.
Thanks for watching this episode of Angry Video Game Nerd. But before we jump into the show, let me tell you about this video sponsor, ExpressVPN.
ExpressVPN?
Reroutes your connection through another country's server, giving you
What?
access to content that isn't available in your country. With ExpressVPN,
Holy cow.
I've got access to thousands of hours of extra Netflix content at my fingertips.
Oh my goodness.
For example, I wanted to watch the 1981 werewolf classic Wolfen on my laptop recently, but Netflix didn't have it available in the United States. So I fired up ExpressVPN, switched my location to the UK, and the movie came up. Number 1 rated VPN. Find out how you can get 3 months of ExpressVPN for free by visiting ExpressVPN.
Pepsi Man. The AO rating that nobody has anymore. Stone Cold Steve Austin, got it, and Joker. Is it supposed to be like Michael Jackson or like Slash or something? Like Mega Man, Power Glove, okay. Super Nintendo cartridge, alright. I see a Jaguar controller a moment ago.
I've played fighters, shooters, racers, fighters, beat-em-ups, fighters. You know, when you played a King Kong assload of shitty games like I have, it feels like you've played them all with just a different title. I want something new. Who said that? Oh!
I played the Super Nintendo version.
Wow, I guess I'm gonna play that now. In Japan, this game was released as Hello Pac-Man, published by Namco. However, in North American release, the game had a bit of controversy around it. In the 90s, a company named AquaLeader developed and published their own unlicensed Genesis games by reverse engineering the lockout chip. This pissed Sega off, who in '91 sued AquaLeader not once, but twice. They eventually settled and allowed AquaLeader to become a full Sega licensed publisher. This also pissed off Nintendo because AquaLeader was releasing so many games on their bitter rival's platform. So AquaLeader Accolade made another company, Ballistic, to get around publishing limits with Nintendo. Weird, cheap sticker slapped on the label. The most common complaints I've heard about this game are controlling Pac-Man's mood swings while pairing vague tactics to solve each level. If you're lucky enough to have the booklet, there's some hints in the back. In the front, the game is glorified as the world's first interactive cartoon. You guide and help him with Namco's innovative character guidance interface, also known as CGI,
Yeah,
not
that's
to be confused with the other CGI abbreviations.
extremely great interface. I definitely didn't want to just kill Pac-Man the whole time.
What the fuck? We're friends now after shooting shit stones at his face? It's a good way to get your ass kicked if you don't put your eye out first. Oh, I mean, come on, that looks like it hurts. Oh, right there. Oh, damn.
No, take the words right out of my mouth, man.
Get Pac-Baby some milk from the local farm. Seems simple enough.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't so tough. That witch is pissed.
I never made it very far in this because I just couldn't deal with it.
FF? Fred Fox? Could it be? The next mission is getting a flower. For
I'm assuming that's an inside joke.
This time you have to take a lift to the mountains, and what a hassle. This game starts to ramp up the cryptic difficulty. Unlike other point-and-click decision-based games, this one takes it to another level by making you a secondary godlike co-op to Pac-Man. Right here, if I don't intervene, he will just walk off this cliff like a fucking lemming. Or here, every detail is important, and the slightest fuck-up can happen from almost anything in the environment. You gotta be super vigilant. This fucking hang glider is the shits. It's an exercise in frustration with no checkpoint. Luckily, there's infinite continues, but every time I get an inch further, I just fuck up and have to start all over. It's a kick in the sack.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, the hang glider.
To get this stupid ass flower.
I was trying to remember where I stopped. I never finished it.
Find 3 ID cards. There's some secrets littered
I just
around,
got too
too.
frustrated.
That pack pellet or stale ass pizza, gross. You can also tell ghosts are nearby because their eyes are on certain objects. Eventually, after a metric ton of bullshit, you return back with the flower, everyone's happy, but guess who's not? I'd be more pissed than upset hang gliding in hell for a fucking flower I could have gotten from a store. I guess seeing as all the stores in this world are closed, Pac-Man had to go to the top of some godforsaken mountain to get them. Not like flowers happen anywhere else besides mountaintops. The third level is where Pac shit starts hitting the fan for
True.
Pac-Man. The ghosts have stolen Pac Jr.'s guitar. Now you have to go to the city and hunt down those motherfuckers. The city has a huge array of things to interact with.
Pac-Man seems
Some of them
determined.
should only take minutes to do. It feels like hours go by. By this time, you'll notice things that are really out of place, like this fuck. To get Junior's guitar, you have to turn into Super Pac-Man and fuck up the ghost.
Oh, I remember Super Pac-Man.
The guitar back.
Okay, so now we're on the final level, and this part is just weird.
The witch is collecting ABC gum? Already been chewed gum? Why? That's nasty, man. You eventually find your way into the evil witch's science lab and come across the number sequence for the ID cards when you collect them all.
Wonder how old the ABC gum joke is. I know it's freaking old. I don't know how old though.
Fuck this game and fuck Pac-Man. I have the ID cards, the number sequence, and he still just goes and fucks things up. What a pain in the ass it is to micromanage every... Oh!
So, there are a couple good things about the game.
Oh.
One, it has unlimited continues, and two, the password system is pretty helpful. If you fuck up and want to go back to get it right, you can pretty easily. Every moment of the game generates a password you can find in the menu. However, if you wait too long, Pac-Man gets pissy. Okay, now the final boss.
And I certainly never made it this far. I think it's somewhere in the second chapter I stopped. Though I've seen playthroughs to get to the end.
Gum monster, it's definitely spelled with a G.
Yeah.
Just grow up and get our minds out of the gutter.
Now this asshole, shit-encrusted, poopy, fuck final boss isn't really too hard to beat. As long as you avoid his arms, stay in super Pac-Man mode, and keep shooting the fuck out of the gum monster's face until he goes back into the gross gum pit he came from. I finished this game at 21%, which goes to show there is so much more to it if you have the time and patience. Is it a shitty game? Well, sort of, but sort of not. It's different, it's an acquired taste, it's a radical jump from the fast-paced, simple maze games we all grew to love. So maybe if they just didn't call it Pac-Man 2, it would have gone over a lot better. It's an interesting game. It's worth having in your collection. You just gotta put up with Pac-Man's emotional outbursts and just separate it from the
I put up with a lot of bullshit, though.
What the fuck? Oh, what the fuck?
Man. Fuck this game.
All right. Well, there we go. So with all that being said, we've seen 2 episodes of AVGN now. I'd say yeah, it's pretty darn entertaining. He's got quite the personality. Obviously you can't judge an entire series based on just 2 episodes, but as far as Pac-Man 2, he was shockingly calm-headed about it. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm a big supporter of not judging the game based on the franchise it's released in. Like, if Portal 2 was released as the title, Legend of Zelda, Portal Problems, I don't know. People would probably be like, this isn't a Zelda game at all. Holy shit, this is bullshit. Even though it's still a well-made game. So it's like, if it wasn't called Pac-Man 2, would it be less hated? Yes. Though I still think it requires you to put up with just too much bullshit to actually call it a good game, though. I think it'd be more so just swept under the rug, probably fairly forgotten about. Not if nearly as fondly remembered as things like Escape from Monkey Island. But yeah, as far as Castlevania 2 goes, yeah, I agree with him on basically everything. I didn't finish the game, so I don't know much about like the late game stuff and all that. But I did not get very far into that game, but the game is bullshit. So yeah, so I've officially finally seen Angry Video Game Nerd. It's pretty cool. I enjoy it. I've known of him for a while. It's weird because it's not the only Cinemassacre. This isn't my first time seeing Cinemassacre though. But because I've seen 1 or 2 videos. It's the ones that Scott the Woz guest appeared in. The one where they talked about the Scott Pilgrim versus the World movie, and then the one about the video game movies tier list. I've seen those 2. Yeah, so I've had this game since I was a kid. Just throwing that out there. This is a game I had for a while. I'd never get rid of it because I don't get rid of video games. I collect. I have not played it in quite a while. I don't intend to play it anytime soon. Anyway, Angry Video Game Nerd. Very quality stuff. It was way ahead of its time. It's become that sort of video game retro review has become a much more popular genre of YouTube video now. That he clearly influenced them a lot. Because that first one was back in 2004? 2006. Well, on YouTube in 2006. I think I heard on his Wikipedia. I read his Wikipedia a moment ago. Oh, okay. So yeah, 2004 was when it was originally put up on a website. Yeah. So yeah, he's been doing this for quite a while. Like, well over 15 years now on YouTube. Been doing it for 15 years. Holy shit, that's a long time. Especially for this genre where a lot of people weren't doing it 10 years ago. And some people were, but like not nearly as big as it is now. There are tons of other YouTubers in similar veins that have all like realized the quality of this genre, or the potential quality, I should say. Um, if there are any angry video game nerd people out here who have watched this but haven't watched some of the others, I'd say give them a shot. Some will probably mention or say that like they're not as good as he was. He's the best. People are imitating him. I wouldn't say that. I just say they usually don't try to do the whole angry part. They just give more honest reviews. Obviously, he's portraying a character. He exaggerates. It's sure like the games will actually piss him off, but he clearly is portraying a character that exaggerates that anger. And some try to give a more grounded opinion, or some have other characteristics they throw in there. I always recommend Scott the Woz. He's like one of my favorite YouTubers in existence. If you haven't watched Scott the Woz, check out Scott the Woz. But anyway, I'm going to cut this video off here. So thank you guys for watching. I will catch you in the next video, whatever it is, depending on when this goes up. At the time of recording this, I've got tons of things already recorded, but they are kept on this bad boy right here that I guess you guys haven't gotten to see really. This is what most videos that you all have seen were on. Every video since 2016 has been on this bad boy. So almost all the videos on this channel. The channel's been around since 2014, but I've got tons of stuff already recorded. A lot of it already uploaded, like the Power Rangers series. I think is still going on the channel right now. I believe then Mega Man might be finished. It's either already finished or will be finishing the day this goes up. I'm not sure. And then I guess I'll go ahead and throw out there a surprise now. If you have watched to the end, we'll be playing Dead by Daylight on the channel. So that's cool. And I've got a series on here I recorded for Super Mario Brothers, the original. All the way recorded, all the way through the whole game. It's not that many videos because it's a pretty short game when you know what you're doing. So that I'll probably try to upload. And with this new PC setup, I should be able to give you better quality videos. Like if you notice, this video is in a way better picture quality than my other videos were. So, and the Castlevania one will look kind of bad. But that's because, or the Castlevania picture quality, the Castlevania Angry Video Game Nerd will look lower resolution. That's because the video itself is low resolution. It was recorded back in 2004. But anyway, yeah, this is dragged out long enough. I'm very happy about this whole having a computer thing. It's still so shocking to me. Like I've had friends for years, like since high school, talk about how I have shitty laptops. Like before this, I had an even shittier laptop. Like a laptop that had to be plugged in to run. That defeats the whole purpose of a laptop. And it was like if I opened Google Chrome, the whole thing would shut down and crash. Not Chrome, the whole computer. It was so infected with viruses. I got it when I was like, I don't know, probably like 9. And I did not do well with it. So then I got this in 2016, well after the other one needed to be gone. And it has a nice display on it, honestly. But other than that, it didn't really have a whole lot of... It had basically nothing else. That was what made it cheap. It was for when I was intending to go to college for graphic design. And it's perfect for that, honestly. If I continued with that, this would be the perfect laptop. It has a tablet form. It's got a great display on it, and an interactive display so I could draw if I wanted to. Um, it's and it's kind of hefty, but it's not for a lap. It's not too bad for a laptop. It's got a nice. It has to be sizable for the whole graphic design thing. It being small would kind of be a hindrance. Um, but yeah, it just didn't have any power behind it. Like I couldn't run Phasmo. The game would crash on the minimum settings. If I minimize the settings all the way down to like 144p, I could get it to run. It just froze constantly. And I can confirm on this PC it runs. It certainly runs. So, yeah, I've got a PC now. I can't believe it. And I've got more USB ports now too. I don't have like everything used, even though I just got a USB hub, so I didn't need it. But it's still cool because now I can have the lights on this on, even though I want to get a better headset. I can have the camera hooked up and the microphone and a mouse and a keyboard and the capture card, all hooked up, and I've still got 3 more USB ports. If I get another USB hub, I'll have another 3 USB ports. So I'm riding high on that. I don't know why I'm putting all this in here. I should just make an update video on it, honestly. So, for that, I'm going to cut this video off here for sure, for real this time. Thank you guys for watching. Catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.